Hey, it's Norm. Today I get to ride in an all-original 1964 Corvette Convertible and pick Mr. Hurley's brain about why this car is so desirable. Sit back and enjoy the ride.
Tell people what we're riding in right now.
This is a 1964 Corvette Convertible. This is a really unique car in that it is a numbers matching car, which means that the serial number of the car is on the block of the engine, meaning that it has the engine that this car came out of the factory with, which makes it more valuable. It's a 300 horse 327, and what makes this 64 Corvette really special, other than the fact that it's in great condition, very nicely restored condition, is that it's a very highly optioned car. As I mentioned a moment ago, we've got factory air conditioning, which is not very common, and we have other options like power steering, power brakes, electric windows combined with a 4-speed, which is really rare because most, back in the 60s, they considered it a ladies' car. Oftentimes, when it would have the 2-speed power glide automatic, and they would equip it with things like power windows and air conditioning, power steering and brakes, that kind of thing. So to have those options with a 4-speed is really special.
The other thing that I thought that was interesting about this car, outside of the air conditioning, the power windows, and all the other things, it has an AM/FM radio.
It does, which is the first year, I believe, of actually having FM. It's 1964.
Factory AM/FM radio in a 1964 vehicle.
57 years ago. Isn't that incredible?
It's incredible. Such a cool car. Runs good.
Great car.
And actually, you know, 57 years old, is that what we came up with? 57 years old. It rides nice.
It does ride nice. And convertibles are not as stiff of a body of a vehicle, of course, as a coupe. But even being an old school convertible, you just don't get as much shake as you would expect. It's just really a nicely done car. This particular car was owned by a friend of the dealership, friend of mine. And while he had it, we sent the instruments off to California and even restored the instrument cluster. This car's so nice. The paint is fantastic. The engine looks fantastic.
Wonder what was rolling around in the
little touch-up paint.
Little touch-up paint.
That's kind of surprising because there's a story behind that. That's actually a can of Krylon.
Gloss red pepper.
This car is Riverside Red. It's a correct rendition of Riverside Red, which is a red that has a little bit of a brownish orange hue to it, or like a chili pepper. Well, there's a tiny part, not part of the outside of the body, but the edge of the hood that needed touching up. And I don't know how the guys in the back did it, but they actually came up with a rattle can. And I said, that's never gonna match. It's never gonna look right. And sure enough, they touched up and it looks like the factory paint. It's so crazy.
That is crazy. Right off the shelf, Krylon, gloss red pepper.
And so that actually came back with the car when we traded this car back in.
That is funny. What is your, I mean, I know this, but tell me and tell everybody that's watching why the C2 is your favorite generation of Corvette.
Well, having been born in the early 60s, my first memory of a new Corvette, being very, very young, was the C2 body style. That's one reason I'm attached to it. But the C2 Corvette just represents a special time where this car has some of the most unique styling, the most aggressive styling it has ever had in the history of the car. And to this day, people enjoy the C2 Corvette, and I think some people were actually a little bit sad when the 68 Corvette, we call it the Coke bottle, C3 Corvette came out, because this car was so iconic in its day. And my first plastic model as a kid I got was of a C2 Corvette. And I remember it was such a nice Revell model that my dad wouldn't let me build it until I was old enough to not mess it up. So I didn't build it until I was quite a bit older.
25?
Yeah, well, not quite that old. And it was a red Corvette like this.
Oh, nice.
It was a coupe. And Riverside Red is also a really well-known color on this car. They made in '65, the year after this, they went to a rally red, which is more of a traditional red, like torch red is on the new C8 Corvette.
Yep.
And that's the first time that I can remember that they ever had a bright, bright red.
Yeah, because if you put this car next to a C8 torch red, you can see the orange hue in this car as opposed to the...
And as I say, to me, I see the orange and even a little bit of brown in the color.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, and follow us on TikTok and Instagram. See you next time.